Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dreamers Podcast, episode 242. I know it's been a few weeks, maybe even like a month or so since I've had the opportunity to jump on Facebook Live at Facebook Live or facebook.com/SuperJoePardo and do some recording while sitting here with Ava or Matt or whoever. /Super Joe Pardo. It's been a little while, but I have a ton of things I want to update on. I know last week I did like a short update, and that was good, but not good enough. So this week my guest is Adam BrickGuy. So if you go to adambrickguy.com, Adam runs a nonprofit organization that brings bricks to kids who needs them. So like Lego bricks and Duplo and all those types of toys to kids, and they get to connect with their parents who are generally not in a great place in their life, but it's a really good opportunity for kids to be kids and for the parents to get to be parents and enjoy the time with their kids. So speaking of enjoying time with their kids, I'm joined by the awesome Ava Wava right here this week. So let's see. So this week this like past month, I've had so many things going on. Getting to go to the United Nations to speak. Let's start there, because that was like the longest thing ago that happened, and I also don't want to forget this. So I'm going to open this thing up on my screen here. So being at the United Nations for WordCamp. In fact, if you're looking at the Facebook Live video or on the Facebook Live video, you can see like I have a WordCamp wristband here. It's like a silicone band, which is actually a USB key. So it's a 8 gig USB key. It says WordCamp NYC 2016. Pretty neat stuff. It was a really, really great time to not to just get to go to the United Nations, because I had never actually been there before, but to go there and then get to speak in front of, I don't know, I guess it was like 30 or 40 people in like one of those General Assembly conference rooms where everyone has like a little microphone and I'm messing up this putting this band back up. Everybody has like a little microphone, and if you look up towards the ceiling, you see all of the translation booths, and it's just really a really kind of intimidating experience, I want to say. So when I was there, the first day I got there, I got to meet a good friend of mine, and sitting down in that room was like, wow, like you're sitting so far back, like you don't realize how big these rooms are until you're actually there in it. But by the second day, I was pretty relaxed and pretty confident in what I had to do, and my topic was talking about the power of adding a podcast to your blog. So since it's WordCamp, it's a lot of bloggers that are there, and I wanted to basically bring all of the basics that they need, the boot campness of doing a podcast to them, and give them the power to be like, I can do this. I can start up a blog, I can start up a podcast, because I have a blog, but I want to bring it to the next level. So I did the talk, had a pretty good time. Afterwards, I ran into some issues. I don't want to get too deep into what happened, but there was like some cyberbullying issues that took place afterwards on Twitter due to my talk. And by the way, it was Marianne who I got to meet right literally as I was walking up to register. I didn't want to get her name wrong. I knew it was Mary or something, but I wanted to double check just before I said it. Shout out to Marianne. She was awesome. Spent like the whole weekend hanging out with her. So anyway, the cyberbullying thing really, really sucked. It made me feel horrible for about 3 days, and I guess that's what the mission that they were trying to accomplish was, and admittedly they succeeded in doing that. But after the third day, I got on my Kanye West game and realized, you know what, it's not worth being upset about. I'm not going to let that affect me. I know what I do and how I do it, and the reasons that I do it, and while I would like to do more than what I do, it's not always possible. I mean, you have this little girl right here who needs a lot of my attention, and that's actually going to get into a topic that I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show. So yeah, so United Nations, by and large, was an amazing experience. I would do it again at the drop of a hat. I'd recommend anybody do it that wants to speak, especially at a word camp. I love word camps. I love what they support and what just the overall experience and the atmosphere that they bring together. I met a lot of really awesome people, and it just a really awesome time. So let's see. The other thing that I did since last doing one of these pre-shows is I spoke at the United Nations. Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of pre-shows, I'm not actually I'm streaming it. So hopefully I'll be able to download this video from Facebook Live after the fact so that I could drop it in, because I am not recording at the moment. I was such in a rush. I hopefully this will make it there. Yeah, so I got to speak at my first Rotary Club. They have 120 members. It's the largest one in South Jersey. It was a really neat experience. I wasn't expecting. I didn't know what to expect really, other than a super friendly environment, and I certainly got it, and a really great lunch on top of that at this golf course. So I would suggest, and I didn't think anybody would have any questions for me after I did my How to Dream Big speech, especially considering that the average age of the room was, probably in their 70s. But that specific club has a lot of older members. The club I did last week actually had a lot of younger members who all have businesses, and the experience of what I was talking, what I was talking about at that one was radically different. So instead of doing the How to Dream Big speech, I was talking about building an audience and creating customers from that audience. And that actually was quite good for me, because I had a lot of people afterwards who had contacted me about hiring me for different services that I provide, whether it's like doing Facebook ads or creating content or new websites and stuff like that. So it really was great to be able to bring that value to them without having to do some kind of hardcore sales pitch, because I am not a sales pitch kind of person. That's not my thing. But I want to bring value to the people that in which I talk, either speak to or just get to know or talk to. However I can help is always the best way that I enjoy to spend my time. Speaking of spending my time, I see Shane Whaley appreciates my mac and cheese shirt, even though he's on a low carb diet this week. Sorry about that, Shane. I love mac and cheese, and even if I was on a low-carb diet, I probably would make the exception and have some mac and cheese. So the Rotary Club thing has been really great for me so far, and I have a lot of them. 8 or 9 more already set up, and I have, I think, 3 or 4 more that are that I'm waiting in the wings to find out when we're going to be, scheduling for. So I also want to bring up that if for anyone who doesn't know or didn't know, 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? I guess, yeah, it was the DNC, right? So it was here in Philadelphia, and while I didn't go to any of it or partake in any of that, I did get the opportunity to go produce an episode of the NAMM show for NAMM. If you're not familiar with NAMM, I think it's NAMM.org, NAMM.org, NAMMfoundation.org, and they run a show, or it's NAMM.org, NAMM.org. They run a brand new podcast that they just started 6 months ago or maybe just under a year ago. And they were looking for somebody to produce an episode with Ben Vereen, who was in Cats, and he's been in so many musicals, just a really, really special guy. I didn't know much about him because I'm not the biggest musical person, but getting to sit across from him for an hour while they talked about supporting the arts, and that's why him and Ben Folds from Ben Folds 5 and all his solo endeavors. And he was also on a show called The Sing Off, I think it was. It was like on NBC. It was all a cappella groups. And he was a judge on that show for, I think, he said for 5 seasons. I didn't even realize that it went on that long. So yeah, getting to sit across from them two guys for an hour. And I don't know if the episode's out yet, but I think actually it's supposed to be, maybe this week it's supposed to come out. They did an episode at the RNC, and then then they did the DNC the week later. Was really, really magical. I'm gonna see if I'm definitely gonna post a blog post about the experience and a link to the episode once it comes out. And shout out to Dave Jackson. He got to do the RNC one the week before, and I forget who he was with for that one. But so yeah, we had like our own little room, and it was really cool. Really a neat experience. I got to take a picture with Ben Folds. Unfortunately, Ben Vereen had to jet before we finished up. They had to do some extra recordings, and Ben Vereen went first and then had to go, unfortunately. So I didn't get a picture with him, but getting a picture with Ben Folds is pretty cool. I don't think I've gotten a chance to post the pictures on Facebook and probably Instagram, but and Twitter, but I don't think I've gotten to post it on my blog yet because I haven't had a chance to write about the experience. I've just been like super, super busy with so many different things. So I know I made a promise during last month or the month before, where I said that I was going to start breaking out these topics that I was normally talking about in my pre-show and recording them for YouTube. And unfortunately, I have not been able to keep up on that promise yet. Just so many different opportunities and things have been coming my way, and work has been coming my way, that I just have not had the opportunity to sit down and do these, which is a shame because I have like 120 different topics to talk about that I want to shoot these videos for. So I really want to get on top of that. You know, maybe it's going to be tough to do it this month, but maybe even just start doing it a little bit, not as regularly, but I want to add those episodes to this feed, to the Dreamers podcast feed. So maybe it's like we do 2 or 3 episodes, maybe up to 4 episodes a month extra. So that would turn the show into like a 2-day-a-week thing, but we'd have an episode that's only like 3 to 5 minutes, and then the interview episodes with the pre-show where I talk about everything that I have going on, which is, we're getting a little fussy here. It would be really, really great. I love the idea of adding a YouTube proponent to the show, or a component to the show. I don't know, one or the other. And then also the idea that people would be able to find the show and find what I do easier through YouTube. And I love that idea, especially since I have the studio now. I have the camera angled down a little bit so people can see Ava's face right now. And we, I don't know if anybody's been, watching these live feeds. I've changed the background. I've changed the office. So, what was it? On Tuesday, Melissa, my wife, took Ava to the first zoo experience down in the Cape May Zoo in New Jersey, and I stayed home because I had some work I had to accomplish that day, and then that night. I ended up staying up till like 3 a.m. because I was like, you know what? I need to get this office rearranged and set up in a better way for me and for everything I got going on. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And it ended up taking me like 5 hours to pull the whole office apart and put it all back together in a way that makes a lot more sense for me and for the room and just in general. So I was exhausted because then I had to wake up at 8:30 a.m. to talk to Mark Asquith on about his about his talk that he's doing here at the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference in September. And I guess we split up at some point because now my pants are soaked. That's unfortunate. So it was just very exhausting, and then it took me a long time to catch up, and I feel like even though it's been actually almost a week now since that happened, I'm just catching up now. So hopefully we can stay on track. Me and Melissa have been trying to go to sleep earlier and earlier with Ava, but she just does not want to go to sleep at like 7 o'clock. It's just not something that she really wants to do. But and sometimes it takes her an hour and a half just to get ready for bed. So it's kind of a shame that it takes that long. But it is what it is. We deal with what we do. So that's really what I have going on now. The big announcement that I had made on Facebook like a few hours ago, this idea that I had. I think after the conference, which is September 9th and 10th, if you don't know what MapCon is, it's the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. It's here just outside of Philadelphia. Right now, tickets are on sale for $150, but if you go to midatlanticpodcast.com/discount, it's $140. And right now we're over over 60 registrations at the moment. So we're killing it. We're looking to have about 150 people come September 9th and 10th. And you can go and check out superjoepardo.com/mapcon, MAPCON, and there you'll be able to check out all these interviews that I've been doing with all the speakers and sponsors, which has been a lot of fun to do here on Facebook Live. So where was I going with this? So after the conference, and in September, Melissa will be going back to work, and she's a teacher, which is great. But for me, it'll be really tough because that means I'll be home with Ava trying to get work done. So we've been looking at different ways and different things that we could do, from different parents that could watch her on certain days. But the problem is I don't really have a set schedule or even set hours, the amount of hours that I work a week. It kind of varies from time to time and day to day, how many hours that I do work. See, you can tell Ava's trying to interject that she wants me to work less hours. Or isn't that right, Ava? Yeah, she wants me all to herself. So, in order to help do that, I had this idea this morning that I think what I'm going to do starting after the conference is limit my hours of working to between 20 and 25 hours a week, so that it enables me to be able to be here for Ava more and have to rely on other people less. So there's a lot of things that go into making that happen, right? 20 hours a week is really not a lot. Like, it's not. But the thing is with the kind of work that I do and I have, it's quite possible. But it does mean that I'm going to have to turn more opportunities down. It means I'm going to have to even be more efficient with my time than I already am, and work really, really hard to make that possible. I fully believe that it is possible, and one of the limiting factors is myself, because every time I'm not working, I feel like I'm losing ground. Every time that I'm not recording or making something happen or writing or... What's the matter? Mwah. It's all right, Ava. It's okay. It's okay. We might be trying to go to the bathroom right now on Facebook Live. I think we are, actually. Or we're just trying to talk into the mic and let everyone know that we're here. We know you're here, Ave. So it's tough for me because I feel like I'm losing ground if I'm not constantly working on something or doing something or thinking about something. So for me, it's like I need to clear my mind and put myself in that right frame of mind. Ava, what's the matter? Are you trying to talk? No? so I need to put myself in the right frame of mind to make all of that happen, and not feel guilty when I'm not working, and not feel guilty when I'm not doing, certain tasks that I feel need to be done to maintain what I got going on. So it's gonna be a really a big challenge for me to make that happen. But I think if I limit 20 to, she's just so talkative today. It's all right, Ave. If I limit it to up to 25 hours, that gives me an extra hour. So that could be up to 5 extra hours, or 1 extra hour per day for the week. So, and I just did an episode with Stephen Warley, and we talked about this idea that like we only have 4 hours a day in us of really solid work anyway. When it comes to if it's creativity or really, really productive stuff. You just don't want Ava. Mwah. That's okay. Yeah, so this is a bit challenging. And the challenge that I'm going to be putting myself through is challenging for me. Maybe and at the same time being able to make the money that I need to make in order to make all of that work is that's a challenge in itself, but to me, that's not the hard part. The hard part is limiting myself to that. The minimalist of like what I absolutely need to do and what's the most important stuff. What are you doing? Yeah, so that's that. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna talk more about this as we get closer. I think she's going to the bathroom, mommy. Here, if you wanna take her. All right. Here. So I think that's going to be the most challenging part for me is getting it to a point where I don't feel guilty and I don't feel that I'm missing out or losing out. That's really the toughest part. So we're gonna get there, and I think that I'm probably gonna try to talk a lot about this specific challenge that I'm putting to myself on the show, the pre-show specifically, and really working hard to make that happen so that I get to spend more time with Ava and helping her grow, as well as helping my business grow in a way by setting that time. I know a lot of people will work within those what are those tomato timers called? So this is why I like having Matt here, because sometimes he would know the Pomodoro timers. Working within a set minimalistic time frame that you have set for yourself, like a hard time frame that you set for yourself, so that you weed out very quickly what's important and what's not important when it comes to what needs to be accomplished and when to get back to people. Like, I know some people will only answer their emails once a day, and if they don't, if you send an email right after they checked it, they're just not going to get back to you. I don't know that I will count emails or answering emails as part of quote unquote working. I think that it really depends on the volume of emails I'm getting at the time, and I also think that it depends on the severity of the emails in which I send out. So like how much work goes into it and all that. I know with the show, I think I'm going to take a lead from Mark Asquith, who, when I did that interview with him the other day, I'm going to be updating the process for people to be on the show. So I'm basically going to just set up a form, and people that want to be on the show can fill out this form, and it's going to be an extensive form. It's going to have everything basically that I can just cut and paste, and you're going to be writing the show notes. And if you don't like doing it, then that's okay. Go find another show to be on, because I don't really have that time to be able to do it otherwise. So while I hate the idea of having to put my, guests or potential guests through a ringer, it kind of is a good idea because, well, actually it's a very good idea because it'll save me time. I won't have to hunt down social media links or bios, or if somebody forgets to send a picture or anything like that, like it's a prerequisite for being on the show. You have to send me all of this stuff in a form so that I have it. There's no questions, and I can just basically copy and paste all of it right into the show notes for the website and save a boatload of time that I don't have, especially once I make the jump to this 20 to 25 hour a week schedule in mid-September. So in the meantime, there's a lot of preparation work that I'm going to have to do to make that happen, including build that form. And also, for anybody that's still curious, I am still going to be working on my third book. It's called Sales Won't Save Your Business. And it's going to be all the different ways that we optimized our processes at my family's business to make it to help save money and save like manpower and everything, and everybody's sanity along the way. So there's gonna be a lot that goes into that, and I haven't had a chance to write the outline for it yet, but I hope to do that either this week or next week, because next week I should have a lot of free time to be able to just write that outline and get it banged out. And then if once you have the outline, writing the book is pretty easy. So we'll see. I might be able to write a whole book in a week. We'll see. It'll be the first book that I won't actually be doing any artwork for, but I will have pictures in it. There'll probably be pictures from my family's business through the years and the different things that happened that I have in my archive. So we'll see. It might not be a ton of pictures, but there'll probably be at least a few pictures in the book to help tell the story, and not just story, but what processes you should be looking at and going through to help save your business and prepare your business to be saved when your sales peak, as sales tend to do. So anyway, that, I think, let me check my notes here. I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Again, I really want to start doing these YouTube videos and converting them into Dreamers podcast episodes in the not too distant future. If you want, go to superjoepardo.com/tube and you can get subscribed today. So once they start going up, you'll be able to make that happen. So so I'm Joe Pardo. I was joined by Ava for about over 3/4 of this episode till she had too much to say, and I had to cut her off. And my guest this week, so you stay tuned after the jump for Adam BrickGuy. If you go to adambrickguy.com, you can check out all of his awesome nonprofit stuff where he brings bricks, Lego bricks, and Duplo bricks to kids and their parents who are in need of some serious child parent time. Mother, daughter, father, son, daughter, mother, son, parent, child parent time. Everyone, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to doing this, jumping on the mic next week and on Facebook Live. Again, facebook.com/superjoepardo. You can jump in and check this out when it's happening live on Mondays. When on Mondays, it's when I have time. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.